What is your name?
Samantha McMail.
Cooper Whitten.
I'm Connor Graham.
How did you get into Dungeons & Dragons?
I knew about it in middle school, but it was not liked by a lot of people.
I wanted to try it when I was probably around 11 or 12.
And I joined this friend group, and Nate and Cooper introduced me to it, and they told me about everything, and I was so excited to learn more about it.
I ran a one-shot for his friends that kind of turned into a two-shot, or we played 2 times, 3 times, and then eventually just spiraled out, and now we're here.
I really enjoyed it and kept joining new campaigns.
And how long have you been playing?
I'm about, I think, three months now.
4 years?
Be about 4 years now.
Maybe 3.
And in what way has D&D impacted your life the most?
I can completely ignore every single other problem I have in my life and just shut everything down just for a couple hours.
It gives me something to do on the weekend, which is nice.
It's let me just have a bunch of friends that I go and do stuff with basically every weekend.
And hang out with friends and do what we all enjoy doing the most, I think.
I also really enjoy being able to spend the quality time with my brother.
What talents have you gained from being a D&D player?
I've always liked creative writing.
My skills with just talking with people individually.
Being able to practice that constantly and think about stories in a way that transcends just the story you're examining. Things like reoccurring archetypes and things like story elements like black moments where all hope seems lost, anything like that.
I have learned to actually write well.
You can really get a good tool set for how to write stories.
What makes D&D different from other games?
And how personal it can be.
The interaction with the other people.
It's just a breeding ground for inside jokes.
I mean, the art and creation of it is amazing compared to the other games that I've played.
You play a video game, you win or you lose, and that's kind of it. But with D&D, it's like you can keep talking with these people that you made bonds with for years afterwards.
Very beautiful, and something that I really love a lot.
Nothing can be compared to it, really.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Dungeons & Dragons has existed since 1974, and was, in the past, considered a cult-like game for social outcasts. Since those times, D&D has come a long way. A The Guardian article refers to it as a safe haven for people who might not feel at home elsewhere, while a New York Times article discusses how D&D has recently come into the light in a way. Popular media and cultural changes, especially in America, such as the hit TV show Stranger Things, have made D&D a more accepted subject. Despite the player's past or current self, they can become a new person, or create a new world through this game. But since D&D is not a single-player game, players with social issues expect to struggle in this environment. On the contrary, an article by Justin Angebrandt discusses how he overcame his social anxiety through D&D. He was indeed nervous starting off, but as he got more adjusted to the game and the other players, he came out of his shell, and even became a leader in certain situations. Forbes writer Clary Estes discusses the scientific backing behind this discussion by bringing up how therapists closely relate the role-playing, conflict resolution, and character development in D&D to cognitive therapy. That is all to say, D&D wouldn't be much without other people. Your fellow players shape the world you are in as well as your interactions. Real social and emotional skills can be learned through a board game. As stated in a KQED article, players develop real relationships with people at the table. Those relationships can also garner creative skills. Players can inspire other players and even bounce off each other in order to even further develop the minds fostered by the game.
The game benefits players even after they left the table. The skills learned in-game are transferable to all kinds of creative outlets. For many people, acting, writing, and even art and design skills flourish after picking up D&D as a hobby.
How has D&D impacted creative ventures outside of the game for you?
I think it's a really good outlet for you to write stories and just be able to get all your thoughts in a story and have fun with your friends.
The game is championed by artists for its role in expanding creative thinking in unexpected places like the workplace and classroom. Monica Fugle, a creative writing teacher, says, "The creativity required in Dungeons & Dragons, for example, also increases their ability to be analytical and forward-thinking. This can pay off even in students' nonfiction writing, helping them with the critical thinking skills required to evaluate and create arguments." D&D has a special role of the Dungeon Master, the guide of the other players through the world that allows for people to grow another valuable real-world skill, leadership.
How has DMing specifically changed you as a leader?
Being able to just be like, no, this is how it's gonna happen, because as a DM, a lot of times people want to do things, and you're just sort of like, you can't really do that, and so I feel like DMing, you kind of have to learn to be like, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that, and like be able to say no to certain things.
It definitely put me in a position where I have to think about where everyone is going and try to incorporate everybody as a group, and I think that made me a better leader.
One Forbes article shares 8 core pillars of leadership teachings real players learn from DMing games: being compassionate, being assertive, being weird, mirroring your team, being welcoming, being trustworthy, being a listener, and being a cooperative guide. The article quotes Danny Montooth and Art Vega as saying, "Running a D&D game is a great exercise in catering information and a story to different styles of learning while also leading the party or group of players towards a common goal. Leadership in DMing is essential, and it's more of a servant leadership role. You're not in charge of their adventure, you are their guide through it."